We are back on the Rational Boomer podcast. Hopefully, your day is going well. It is Sunday, and this is a big day. She's been away for a long time. Old Soul is back. You've been bouncing around the country doing all kinds of shit, being very covert about it. You don't give away your locations for safety reasons. But what kind of
Yes.
welcome back and what kind of things you been up to?
The biggest thing that happened is Kelsey graduated. So I was like, oh my God. But I texted you and like sent you her pictures. I was like,
Yeah,
wait a minute,
she's
this went by so
gr-
fast.
great kid. Good looking,
Yeah.
great kid.
She was running around all day. I don't know if you know in the pictures, but she has like these bright pink shoes on because she loves like pink and black and like that female black Batman version or whatever.
Yeah.
But she couldn't wear like a black dress on her graduation day. So she had like a white dress on and these bright pink shoes. And like all day she's like running around in these shoes. And like her teachers and stuff was like telling me all these cute little stories about her because we had like a photographer there and stuff. And we did make a big deal about it because like she came such a long way and
Yeah, absolutely.
she wasn't expected to get that. So we made a big deal about it. But that took up a lot of time to like planning for that and planning for her birthday. And her and my daughter are gonna, you know, be in another state for the summer. So it was pretty busy. But other than that, I don't know if you know what the real ID is now.
Yeah, I've looked into it quite
But
a bit. I don't have the real ID yet. And, for flying, uh, if you have a passport, you don't need the real ID. But I know it's confusing to a lot of people.
yeah, so we've been helping people now. This is the crazy part because sometimes it's not like safe for me in certain states, like Kentucky and certain states. You like they literally have like Nazis like out there like lined up and like marching in the streets and stuff is crazy. So I have to kind of like stay behind and do like some behind the scenes stuff. I've learned that people who kind of like sponsor for us to like go into other states and help people and stuff, like some of these people are like Republican people with like a lot of money. So they would not publicly denounce Donald Trump, but behind the scenes, they are like paying
Wow.
for and doing absolutely everything that they can to like go against him. Think about like the Mitt Romney type of people.
Yeah.
What makes them dangerous is that they are not stupid. And so these are the type of people who would say, Brian Kemp, we need you to kind of like stay low key right now. And when we need you to pop out, you could pop out. But now is not a good time because if you are like in the spotlight right now, you're going to be tied to Trump. So we need your reputation to be I stood up to Trump. I pushed back against Trump or whatever. We need that to be your reputation. So
Right.
once you're like out of office, you need to like lay low until it's time for us to tell you to pop out. And then they would put their money behind somebody like him, right?
Right.
Was dangerous about that. And what Democrats are not looking at is the fact that it's the when you think about what Eric says, like if you think about FDR and how long Democrats stayed in charge after, when it comes to what the Democrats are doing right now, you say, okay, yeah, well, in 4 years, we could do this, we could do this, or we could do that. But if we're not willing to do something for the people or like really fight and push hard for them,
Right.
yeah, we could be in charge of the government for 4, maybe 8 years. But that's the difference 4 or 8 years versus 40 years or 48 years or whatever, you know what I mean? So
Yeah,
that's the difference.
exactly.
They could bring somebody like Brian Kemp out once Donald Trump is out of off the scene, and they can make him seem like that sane Republican again. He has nothing to do with MAGA. He denounces MAGA. The Democrats over here doing their same old BS. They forgot about the working man. Look at Brian Kemp over here. You know what I mean? So that's the difference. These people are very calculating and they have very deep pockets. And one thing that I've learned is that they fight a lot harder than Democrats do. Because
Oh,
I'm
no
like, oh,
question.
okay, like help rule America, whatever. And they're like, nah, we're not investing our money over there because we can't count on them to vote against Republicans that we don't want in office. Like we
Oh,
kind of need them to vote for Democrats right now. And since
yeah.
they are not do that. We're not going to help them get a real ID. We're not going to help them get roofs on their home right now, even though Donald Trump ain't sending them no money. Like these people need to suffer. And we are going to
They
make
do.
sure that they suffer. And we're going to make sure that they can't vote on top of that. It's very like, they don't care. Like they just, they don't care. They just,
No.
at the end of the day, this is what they want. And they have
Well,
no money like giving the left wing people anything to get Trump out of the way and then get like they person on. It's crazy.
I think Democrats have to be careful when they see somebody on the Republican side speaking out against Donald Trump. First thing
Mm-hmm.
they say is, "Oh, they're on our side. I'd vote for him." No, that's not what's happening here. They don't
Mm-hmm.
dislike all the things that Donald Trump is doing. They still stand by the Republican against abortion and racism to a certain extent. They just don't like
Yeah,
Donald Trump because he's failing. They want to
yeah,
get somebody that is smarter and better and has a better image, but not anywhere near what Democrats want to be. So when we see those Republicans
yeah.
supporting taking Donald Trump out, don't think they're
Mm-hmm.
our friends. It's like Liz Cheney. She was never our friend, but
Yeah.
people loved her because she stood up against Donald Trump.
Mm-hmm.
He's your enemy too. We love you. No, we don't, because
Yeah.
we don't want those people in power. They are still going to push through um, the things that Donald Trump is attempting to push through, except they're smarter and more under the radar. So they,
Yeah.
in some ways, are more dangerous.
I mean, yeah, if they give to like left wing causes, when they're like, yeah, we kind of need to help these urban people get real IDs. We need to make sure that these people over here have passports. You know, we need to try to reach out to women to just say, yeah, even though you're married, like look at this SAVE Act that's coming down the pipeline. Would you allow for us to pay for you to change your name back to the name that's on your birth certificate? Like you're still married, you're just doing a name change, or maybe let's hyphenate your last name or whatever it is that they want to do. Like we can help you with that paperwork. We can help you get that done. That type of stuff. Like they these people will like completely go against their own to get their own at the end of that. And if that means like giving to like left wing causes, if that means helping like minorities and people in like urban areas or whatever, they will do that. But you have to think about these people as like the people in the Senate. They're just as crazy, but they know how to like kind of like maintain they crazy. But with the Senate, you can see that too, because they like, yeah, hey, we love him on immigration. We love the fact that he's tearing up the government. We just don't like the fact that he's exploding the debt. We
Right.
don't like
Well,
that part. Like that's the part they
Democrats
have a
do
problem
too.
with.
Democrats do it too. Democrats
Yeah,
will find somebody that's a Trump humper running for something. He's so crazy, no, he doesn't have a chance to win. They'll feed him
yeah,
some money just to
yeah.
let him get his ass kicked. I mean, the whole business of politics is very dirty. It's dirtier than we even know, and we know a lot right now. And it's both
Yeah,
sides at this point. Do you think, obviously we're going to see a dramatic change in the Republican Party when Donald Trump is no more. But I'm really feeling like I think you do too, that we need some dramatic changes in the Democratic Party too. They don't fight. They're sticking to these old people. They're dying
yeah,
off. It's costing us votes. Um, there's young people wanting to make a change. The old people are pushing back. We can't have that kind of division in the Democratic Party. I mean, we still should be able to beat the Republicans after all the things they're going to do, but I'm not taking the risk we took on November 5th and lost.
yeah. Not only do we have like the vision, but we literally have people like dropping like flies. Like
Yeah.
they are dying in their seats. And so when they look at somebody like David Hogg and they're like, he is doing this and he's going to give like no, he is going against the status quo. And it's just kind of like if you sit back and you pay attention, any Democrat that is coming out swinging, going against the status quo, it don't matter how old they are. They're looking at Bernie Sanders as like a leader because he's pushing back against this corporate Democrat crap that we've been dealing with for so long. Like you can see his crowd sizes and you can see the reactions that he's getting. You don't see that with Hakeem Jeffries, but
No.
I saw I saw Jasmine Crockett at like an old school like Gladys Knight concert, and like she got more standing ovation than the other artists that came on. You know what I mean? So
Wow.
you can like look at people, you can see like the people that they attract. You can see how much support and how much people rally around them and how much people protect them, right? Versus Hakeem Jeffries. Like you can literally like see the love that they get online. Look in their comment sections. The only people that's hating against them is MAGA, but everybody else is with them. So it's like you see what the people want. You know what the people want, but you're like, no, I know better. Because even when AOC went for that position and they gave it to the old man with cancer, who sadly he passed away. Did you see who
Right.
they put in there with him now? Another
Have they
old
picked
person.
somebody? Have they picked him yet, or I don't know if they voted yet.
I
I
think
think
he's like
Crockett was
71
running
something.
for it.
Yeah, I think, well, I don't know if they decided or not, but I know who they were like picking to put in that
Yeah,
seat.
who they want. Yeah, and it's a matter of a vote within the committee too. So you got to lay it on their hands too, or as to who gets in there. But what you have to understand when the committee votes, they're getting pressure from Hakeem Jeffries and Pelosi. They want what they want. I've said this before. We've got old people in the Democratic Party that are fighting like it's the 90s or the 2000s, like it's
And it's
politics as usual. It's not.
mm,
This is a fucking street fight, so we need some warriors. I'm sorry if it's distasteful to some people, but that's a fact.
yeah, there's like, they go to Jasmine and Crockett and say, hey, if Elon Musk was standing here right now, what would you say? She was like, I'll tell him to fuck off. And like most of America would say the same thing. You go to Chuck Schumer, he's like, well, I'm just going to write a strongly worded letter. As if Trump reads.
Yeah, yeah,
Not only that, but I just saw Donald Trump has only been to 14 of his daily briefings since he's been elected. 14. And these
yeah.
are daily briefings. So whether you're on vacation or not, you are going to read your briefing. You are going to, even if you're not reading it, you're getting debriefed, right? So what's her name? Not the puppy killer one, but the other one. Is her name like the gnome chick? Who is
Christy Nome.
she?
Christy Nome
Yeah,
is South Dakota, and she's the dog killer. Uh,
not her,
uh,
the other one. Oh God, I can't think of her name. She's like
spokesperson.
the head DOD person. So what she is doing is she is calling in this is straight up, y'all. I will forward you the article once we log off here. She is calling in a Fox News producer and she's going to stage his briefings as if he's watching Fox News. So instead of
Oh, I
like
heard that. Yeah.
yeah, instead of giving him like a regular briefing, they're going to put on like a Fox News production to help him get
Right.
the information. Like at this point, I feel like somebody needs to step up. Even if you want him to be the face of the administration and let him go out here and do these crazy pressers or whatever he's doing, let him do that. You know what I mean? He's like a little kid. He's over there playing. He ain't messing with you, whatever. But at least like JD Vance or someone needs to be sitting down and reading the daily briefings. Like at first I thought that maybe he was like forgetful. Like I know he's stupid, but when people ask him questions, he's like, no, I never heard of that. No, no, I didn't know that. I'm like, oh, he's just playing dumb. Like, there's no way you're not getting debriefed on everything as soon as you get up in the morning. But no, he's not being briefed on this. So, how are you making policy decisions? How are you making decisions about national security? And you literally, it's not like you heard it and then you forgot it. Like, you literally have no idea what the heck is going on. And the reason that that's dangerous is because he doesn't have people around him any longer who at least is thinking about the consequences or thinking about the country. He has like some really evil, nasty people around him that's completely taking advantage of how uninformed and how stupid he is. Like,
When you hear him talk at press conferences, you just look at his eyes and what he says, and you realize that it's something he's never heard before. Like when somebody said that the MS-13 picture of the hand was photoshopped, he was just taken aback. I cannot believe that. Or when they just recently told him that Wall Street um, thinks of him as a chicken, that you could see that really hurt him. And what I understand is he went back to his staff and he was furious with them because nobody told him that that was going on. And that's, that's the problem with anytime you're dealing with at least a parent who's a malignant narcissist, you're scared to death of them going off the deep end. So you just
Yeah.
don't tell them things they don't want to hear, which is not good when you're president because there's a lot of things you should hear that you may not want to hear, but you should hear. So he's just kept in the dark. On top of it, he doesn't read or keep up with anything. He's just oblivious. He's just being pulled around like a marionette by all the people around him.
Look, I'm that employee. Like, I've learned a couple things from Kelsey. I'll be like, what you mean did nobody tell you? I put it in your daily briefing. They didn't tell you that?
Yeah.
Knowing that he don't read his briefings. Like, I would be quick with it. Like, I think that like his employees, they should, if they want him to read his briefings, just say, "Oh yeah, when so and so said this about you, we put it in your daily briefing." Oh, when this happened, oh, that taco thing, that was like first page in your daily briefing. You ain't see that? You know what I mean? And he
Yeah.
will probably be that person that's like, "Oh yeah, yeah, I did see it. I did see it." But I would not take the heat for that. Like, no, you don't know what's going on. That's on you. That's on the people around you. That's on your team around you. Why they not keeping you up to date? I wouldn't be afraid of Trump to save my life. Like, that's just for what? He's stupid. He's so easily manipulated. Even when that I call him the butler. I know that's just disrespectful, but the guy that comes out and breaks down um the executive orders and tells him what
Right.
he's seeing and how great and fabulous it is and all that other kind of crap. Like, you know that he has no idea what he's signing. Some guy could be telling him this is what you're signing, but there's no telling what that document says. He didn't even read it. He just knows that somebody is telling him that's what it says. So grandpa's just over there signing. They could literally put in there that he is signing that he is not mentally fit to be in office and tell him that this is going to be the best deal between him and China. And once he signs off on it, like, all right, JD, put him in the back seat. JD Vance you up. Like, I just I don't understand why they haven't put him in a position to where he X'd himself up out of the White House yet. But I do know why they haven't done it because they're in the background being very self-serving and just like stealing everything they can get their little grubby paws on. All of them. All of them.
It's like when you have the riots in Watts or even in Minnesota, you know,
Mm-hmm.
um, and everything's burning down and windows are being broken and people that would never steal anything say, fuck,
Yeah.
it's there, it's free, I'm going to grab it. It's just a smash and grab. And while it's tough working for Donald Trump, it's easy in the sense you can get away with virtually anything as long as you pat him on the head and tell him he's a fucking genius.
Yeah. It's kind of like going to dad's house for the weekend. Like, Monday through Friday, mom got everything on lock. You cleaning your room, you doing your homework, you gonna be in the bed by 10 o'clock. You go to your dad's house, he not really worried about it, but mama gonna have to deal with all of this nonsense on Monday. So he not really tripping. You can stay up late, you can eat the junk foods. Like, that's kind of what it feels like. And if anybody
Yeah.
grew up with siblings, you kind of know that sometimes it don't matter who did it, everybody in trouble. All y'all go to bed, all y'all clean up that mess and go to bed. Like, that's how it is. So it's kind of like you see everybody taking advantage of dad's house on the weekend, and we all got to get in trouble for it. So it's like every single thing that they are doing, every single one of us has to pay for it. But like, none of us is going to come out of this unscathed. It's just not going to happen.
Don't you get the sense though with what's going on now, like with the China tariffs and then taking them off and China still saying fuck yourself. You've got the taco comments. You've got Cutter now saying, "Wait a minute, we're not get. You got to tell the truth about this plane thing, otherwise we're not giving you the plane. You came to us, we didn't come to you." And they're trying to cover their ass because they know at some point Donald Trump won't be president, and there's going
Yeah.
to be some hell to be paid by a Democratic government with them for doing that sort of thing. But all these things seem to be falling apart, and you can see it when he does his press conferences. He just looks sillier and sillier every day. We're seeing some Republicans um, pushing back as much as they dare to. Doesn't it feel like we're at a kind of a transition point uh, where things are starting to fall apart for Donald Trump, and there's really no way back?
Could be. I'm laughing because I do not know. I do not know how people are not embarrassed. Like, I do not know how they are not embarrassed. Or maybe
I
it's because
agree.
I do tend to watch like news from other countries and stuff like that. So I see the stuff that they say, and it is so embarrassing. Sometimes like I'll be like watching the presser that's going on, or Kelsey, she's still like when I'm busy or traveling, she will like read articles and record them and send me the recording so I can listen to them on a plane or whatever. And I could be listening to it and I'm like, oh my God, oh my God. And this is just like her reading it. And it's been a couple of times where she's like her comments while she's reading is like hilarious, but she'll be like, Mom, I know this doesn't make any sense, but I'm reading it like word for word. Or she'll be like, it's just words on the paper at this point. It makes no sense. Like, and she'll just keep reading it. And it is like so embarrassing. It's the most embarrassing thing that I've like, as an American, I've never been embarrassed, but it's very embarrassing. And I don't know how these people are not embarrassed. I,
Well, I
the
think they are,
administration,
but
they profited from it, but like just like a regular like MAGA supporter who spent like the last 4 years talking about how incompetent and old and feeble and weak Biden was and how embarrassed you were. And now you have this man up there that is like so much worse. And now all of a
yeah.
sudden you're like, yeah, yes. How are you not embarrassed? Like,
Well,
okay.
part of it is what I've said before is these people are incompetent. There's no question about it. But there's one
Yeah.
other thing that they have in their makeup that makes it oh so much more dangerous, and that is the absolute in arrogance. Let me give you an example.
Yeah.
Joni Ernst, the U.S.
Oof.
senator from Iowa. Okay, she went to a town hall meeting, didn't go well. Didn't go well, like all of them haven't gone well. Um, and and somebody yelled out when they were talking about cutting Medicaid, somebody yelled out, people are going to die. And her answer to that was, well, we're all going to die. And that was kind of like a Marie Antoinette, let them eat cake type of thing. And she got a lot of blowback. So she did
And
an
she,
apology. Did you see the apology?
yeah, she'll still be
It
a
was
smart ass about it.
She was still being a smartass. So that's what I mean. It's about arrogance. She thinks she can do this and still get
Yeah.
elected, or maybe she doesn't care if she gets elected. But but these people are so arrogant and they think they can get away with all this shit. It's going to be devastating to them when they find out they're fucked in the long run.
If you hear my phone beeping, don't let me forget because that's Kelsey telling me to break down these tariffs that she sent me. Anyway, but you got to think about it with Johnny Ernst and as well as that other guy. Remember when he was saying, I didn't read that part of the bill. I
Yeah,
didn't know
flood.
that was in there. They don't think that they can play stupid. They don't think that they can make insensitive, cruel, inhumane comments like that and still get elected. They know that they can do that and still get elected because they've been doing this whole time and they have still been getting reelected. So they
I
don't
tell
think
you,
that they know that they can. And until the people who voted for them says, you know what, you're not going to keep doing this to us and we're going to keep putting you back in office. We're going to put somebody else in there who is going to represent us. They are getting ready. I don't know if you know what's going on with Missouri right now, but I'm gonna try not to like get sad about this, but I was speaking with a volunteer in Missouri and she called me. She's like upset and she's crying because they got far more signatures than what they needed to get, you know, access to abortions in that state. Overwhelmingly, it passed. But the courts or the Supreme Courts of Missouri just came back and was like, we appreciate you getting the signatures. We appreciate you, doing this the legal way. You did every hurdle we threw at you. We're gonna count those signatures, but we're not gonna count those signatures. Yeah, we're gonna count this county, but like we're not gonna count that county. Like these people did everything that they can to invalidate the signatures, and they still surpassed the amount that they were supposed to get. And the women are like, cool, we got our abortion rights in there. We good. We can vote for Republicans again. Thank you, Black women. We appreciate y'all.
right.
Supreme Court just came out and was like, nah, you still can't get access to abortion. Go on somewhere with that. And there are women in Missouri right now who are devastated, devastated. Like I was just listening to her like boohooing on the phone, and I'm like, you can cry like for the next week or so, but then you're gonna have to like get back up and you have to get back out there and you're gonna have to push to get your abortion rights back again. Even though like this country is like severely abused.
Yeah.
And people tend to like nobody like if Donald Trump would have came out and abused us like this in his first term, he wouldn't have got voted for again. He put
Yeah.
competent people around him. He made it look good, even though it wasn't. He was saved by COVID. He still gave money to HBCUs in his first term. Like he was an outsider. He didn't know what he was doing, but he did have some people that saved his butt on quite a few things, especially during the BLM protest, right? But he didn't come out like, I'm taking away Social Security, I'm taking away Medicare, I'm taking away Medicaid, I'm cutting down this program. About a good 500,000 of y'all to lose y'all jobs. Right now, like damn near 400,000 children are dying because he cut off USAID. He didn't do this in his first term. Like he
No.
built up. And when they took away the abortion rights for women, as jacked up as this is, a country as a whole, they kind of got numb to it by the time it came around to vote again. We still see it to this day. We are like, there's a woman right now in Georgia laying in a coma
Yeah.
because she's brain dead. And Georgia is like, we know you brain dead, but we need that baby that's in your tummy so that we can deny them health care. We can deny them free school lunches. We can deny them an education. Like, well, we still need that baby because we need somebody to work for us and get underpaid. And
Yeah.
by the way, your family gonna have to pay this hospital bill because we're not gonna do it. Like
Well, some
it's still
people,
going on to this day, but the country is numb to that type of suffering. They are just numb to it. So I don't know what's gonna happen in Missouri. I think that they need to prioritize. Unfortunately, their priorities have to shift. And your priority is like at the end of the day, it's going to be about women, but we can't help these women by voting for abortion rights or referendums. We can't help them that way. The only way that we can help them is to get these Republicans out of office. How do we do that? So stop, like you still think about the women in the back of your mind, but you have to change your game plan. And right now their game plan needs to be get these Republicans the hell up out of there. And that's what we need to focus on. It's going to be women that lose their lives
yeah.
in the girls,
And,
but
and
there's
Missouri's
no,
at a point right now where it's on them.
yeah,
You did what you did with your cohorts, tried to help them, and then they fucked themselves by voting for
it's so sad.
Republicans again. Either they learn, or they suffer. And there's not much more you can do. You've done everything you can possibly do. People will always say that Donald Trump, he did what he did in the first term, and he got smarter and he learned how to do it better in the second term. And I don't think that's it. I don't
Mm-mm.
think that's it. You've dealt with malignant narcissist. I've dealt with malignant narcissist. When a
Mm-hmm.
malignant narcissist needs something from you, they will tell you anything. They'll love bomb you. They'll do whatever they have to do. But the moment they have everything they need from you, then you ain't worth the shit to them. They'll throw you under the bus. They don't give a fuck. And that's where we're at with Donald Trump at this point.
Yeah, he is like, he's being abusive. Like he is doing the most inhumane things. And then the moment we get numb to it, he just amps it up a little bit more. You know what I mean? Because we remember how horrible it was seeing it every single day when they pulled USAID and like questioning ourselves as to why is there food rotting in storage units right now
Yeah.
because he doesn't want to give them to poor people. Or we remember seeing the trucks just like sitting there in a parking lot because Elon Musk said, we're not giving money to food banks anymore. We remember seeing like old people on the news, like, how are we going to eat? They took away Meals on Wheels and then they took away our food banks. What are we going to do? And we remember what that felt like. But we see that now and it's like, oh, it's just Tuesday. So it's like they
Right.
keep ramping it up and ramping it up and ramping it up. The thing with the tariffs, I was like listening to the live with you and TJ, and you're like, hey, these people have to feel pain. For me, I don't want them to like feel that pain right now. And then by the time it comes to voting again, they're
Yeah.
already numb to that pain. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like for me,
I
I don't
got
want
you.
them to feel it right now. I don't want them to feel it later. I kind of need them to like drag it out so that they are constantly being reminded of what these people are doing. So if you have an ailment, or like let's say, Medicaid, because people keep saying Medicare or whatever. Medicaid covers a lot of people in nursing homes. So some
Oh,
of
yeah.
these nursing homes are shut down. And now all of a sudden you go from a two-income household to a one-income household because your mother has to stay home from work because your parents or her parents, they can't afford to be in a nursing home any longer. You're going to feel that every single day when you get up, or every single day when you open up your bills, or every single day when you worry about how you're going to put gas in your car. Well, it's not like they need to feel that pain and just feel it and get it over with. People need to constantly feel the pain and be reminded of it, which is like the most crappiest thing I've ever said in my life. But like they constantly have to feel pain because
Well,
people just do this crap.
you mentioned nursing homes, but it's not just nursing homes, it's rural hospitals too. Rural
Yeah,
hospitals survive off Medicaid. So there are
yeah,
people in rural communities that won't have nursing homes, of course, but they won't have hospitals either. They'll have to drive 60, 70 miles for any kind of healthcare type thing. But I wanted to point something out. When we first started talking way back when, and I may have brought up at one point, some of these people are going to have to suffer some pain. You might as well just stand back and let them fucking suffer. And you being compassionate as you were, no, we got to keep fighting. I don't want to see that. I don't want people get hurt. Well, you've changed your tune now a little bit because you've realized that you've given these people chances to save themselves, and they haven't done it. So
yeah,
maybe that is the only answer. Like when he was talking about taking off the tariffs on China, and everybody acted like it was going to get better, and it's not getting better. It just hasn't hit as hard yet. But I
yeah,
was kind of disappointed in that because, like Obama said, that court case allowed Donald Trump to save himself from himself. Uh,
yeah,
but we need that calamity, that economic calamity. And people say, well, people will get hurt. And the way I explain it is they're going to get hurt regardless of whatever he does. So the
yeah,
faster we get it done, the faster we get past it. That's the only way I look at it.
yeah. I don't think that the faster we get it done, the faster we get past it, because it's kind of like the faster we get it done, the faster people will get numb to it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Because at the end of the day, we are all like animals, and it is in us to adapt and
Yeah.
survive. You know what I mean? And so, what we're doing right now with all of this stuff that's going on, we're adapting and we're surviving. And it just depends on where you're at, how bad that's going to be, but you have to constantly be uncomfortable to, at the end of the day, remember why this is happening to you, and to remember how this feels for you. Because as Americans, I think as a whole, we're pretty selfish. We're not looking at, somebody in the next state, what's going to happen with their daughter or their children. We're looking at our state and what's going on right now, and me looking at my babies and seeing what they are going through. So we
Yeah.
kind of like look at like the right here, the right now, what I need, and we're not looking down the line and seeing what can happen as a result or a consequence of any of this. Now, a lot of us think like that, and a lot of us do care. But when we say stuff like that, we hear some of the most negative crap ever. We hear stuff like, well, Trump gave me a check. Like, half of you as a woman, and you as a Black woman in America, and you have to go against yourself, your family, your sons, your daughters, your aunties, and everybody else because Trump wrote you a check. But she remembers that instant gratification of when she opened that check
Right.
and she was
Right.
able to put it in the freezer and pay her car note. And she doesn't remember being able to do that since that Trump check. And he made sure his name was on there. So you have
Right.
to just how selfish people are and how people need like that, what's going on right here, right now, today. That's what they need to have addressed. So I think that this is Democrats' opportunity to not lie, but let them know every single day, this is what Donald Trump is doing. Yeah, you don't have health insurance because he took it away. Oh, yeah, your daughter is 6 right now, but he believes when she turns 7, you don't qualify to get any kind of food assistance for her. Oh, and by the way, the food banks are closed down the street. You know what I mean? Like you have to constantly remind them and then tell them, Everything he is doing right now is an executive order. He is not running none of this stuff through Congress. We need the House, we need the Senate, we need the presidency, and we will instantly get you back on your assistant, instantly help those hospitals get back up bigger and better, instantly put food in your children's stomach. This doesn't even have to go to Congress. I could just come in here and just sign away all these executive orders that he's doing and make your life better like today. That's the only thing
Right.
they got to be saying right now. But, we don't need to say, you know what, how do we message? How do we reach people? You just tell them. It's like,
Well,
stop
I
asking how to message. You just message. Help her get out there.
people do ask me all the time, what do we do to fight against Donald Trump? And we just had an example. The absolute best, most damaging thing you can do to Donald Trump. It's not the convictions. It's not the economy. It's not
Mm-hmm.
the single biggest damaging thing Donald Trump suffered in the last 3 years when that woman said, Wall Street says you're a chicken. You could see it in his face. I had a dad that was a narcissist, and the face kind of it just
Yeah,
changes. The skin goes weird ways, and you could see he was mortally injured by that,
yeah,
and and that's what we got to keep up doing, because as you do that, he screws up more, and he just becomes a mess. This is how you send a malignant narcissist into the spiral and into the crash. They're horribly insecure. you
yeah,
know they they know they're fakes, and they don't want to be exposed, so they keep doing what they're doing. Once they're
yeah,
exposed and there's no way to fight it, that's when all shit goes to hell for them. And that's what we
yeah,
got to do with Donald Trump. We've got to embarrass him, emasculate him, make him look foolish, embarrass him over and over again, because what's going to happen is when we embarrass him, he's going to start going he already is starting to go after his own administration, his own staff. He's going after Leonard Leo and the Federalist. Ugh, what the fuck
okay.
is he thinking?
People who have never been around a narcissistic person, they don't know. Like, I literally say they shapeshift because my
Yeah,
daughter's dad, his eyes would go black and his nose would just kind of like flare up. Like, he
right.
looked different. Like, he just looked like a different person. But
Yeah,
they do. When it comes to Trump, like his ego, bruising his ego, talking trash, that's the easy part. You see how many
yeah.
trolls we got on? Have you seen the taco AIs?
Oh yeah.
For the June 14th protest. Oh my God. I'm not even going to take a picture and send this to you. But my daughters, they got us like taco hats with like Trump on. It's got the Trump taco. I'm like, I'm not wearing this hat, but if I do, I'll take a picture of us or maybe them. I don't want to be nowhere on the internet in these Trump taco hats that they found. But anyway, that's the
I've,
easy part. I
I've
do
got a
think we
job.
also,
I've got a
go
job
ahead.
for Kelsey. I got a job for Kelsey. She's probably into the AI stuff. And we've seen the AI stuff with Donald Trump in chicken suits and stuff like that. The
Yeah.
one thing I haven't seen and maybe you don't know this, maybe it's a Midwestern thing, but when you're at weddings in the Midwest, inevitably somebody will play the chicken dance. Na 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 na. You've never heard that? Um, but they're flapping their wings and stuff like that. I want to get a video, AI video of Donald Trump in a chicken suit dancing the chicken dance. That would be fucking awesome, and make that go viral.
She actually said like the Trump taco, chicken taco. She said it works in every version except for taco salad. She was like, because that man don't even put lettuce on his Big Mac. So I'm like, I haven't thought about it like that, but okay. I
But
think
this is what we
attacking
got to do.
his ego, attacking it is so easy because he is so freaking like sensitive and
Yeah,
emotional and insecure. It's like you a grown ass man. How do you get offended by like somebody calling you a freaking taco? Okay. Like
yeah.
you literally have a nickname for everybody. like Slopadopoulos and all these immature nicknames, and somebody call you a taco and you just like crumble and don't ever say that. And the crazy part about it is, I don't know if you saw this or not, but the reporter that asked the question, like she was like giving an interview after it, and she was like, hey, it's a rite of passage. Her and her, I don't want to say it's her homegirl, but the other woman that was asking her the questions, they were like laughing and joking. So it's kind of like they was like intentionally trying to poke at him. And I'm like, okay, girls, I see y'all. Like,
That's
that's the
what we
thing.
need.
It's like so easy. Like, if you want to go viral, get in a press briefing and just ask Trump a regular question. And he took it so personally. She wasn't calling him a taco. She was just saying, hey, this is what they are saying. What do you say about somebody else saying that about you? Like,
Well, and I'll tell you
maybe
what, the taco,
something.
the, the taco part of it isn't the bad part. The bad part is when they called him a chicken, because that impugns his virility, his masculinity, and that's what he
Yeah.
hates more than anything. I can call him, I can call him Dirty Diaper Donnie Trump, and he'd get pissed off about that. But if I show a picture of him being weak or chickening out, that would just kill him. That would just
Yeah.
kill him, and that's what'll make him explode ultimately. I'm surprised. Well, he did kind of. At first he was trying to play it cool, and then he went to. I don't even know why you asked that question. That's the nastiest question I've ever heard. You're a nasty person. That's his always his go-to, and he just looked foolish in the whole process.
Well, people forget that we don't see Donald Trump. Donald Trump sees Donald Trump. Like, he goes home and he take the oversized suit off and he sees his belly and his hair is not wrapped around and he doesn't have this orange all over his face. He know who he is. He know what he looked
Yeah.
like. He know he's stupid. He know when he's sitting there reading and he can't pronounce words, let alone know what they mean. He understands that. And part of the reason that he like attacks Biden and Obama so much is just out of pure jealousy. You know what I mean? Even when,
Absolutely.
like he understands that these are educated men, these are smart men, but these men are respected. The stuff that's going on right now on his watch with Putin and all this other kind of crap, he's like, yeah, if it was me, it wouldn't have happened. It's happening under you and it's 10 times worse. So he knows
Right.
he's a fraud. He knows he doesn't have any pull. When he sat there and said how Putin was saying how much he respects Melania and how much he loves Melania, as soon as he said that lie, I was like, oh, he finally saw the clips that we were seeing of Russia showing her nudes on their television screen and laughing at him. He's seeing
Yeah.
the images of Putin dog walking him across the White House lawn. Oh, he is seeing that. And so he is sitting here and he's trying to make us believe his delusion. And the one thing that Trump is like so afraid of is us seeing what he sees and us
Right.
knowing what it is that he knows about himself. So he constantly has to build himself up and lie to us. But you don't do that by by this
No.
particular behavior that he has going on. I think that we need to keep up the momentum and attacking his ego. I always say like let the kids do that because they are like hammering this fool online. But we also have to like take out the pillars, if that makes sense. So like Donald
Yeah.
Trump is on the platform, but he's
Right.
not Superman. He got Stephen Miller over here holding up the platform. He got JD Vance over here reinforcing the lies. He got sellout Marco Rubio over here. So he got these pillars like holding him up. And if we knock those pillars out, Donald Trump falls. These people don't have immunity, and there's only certain things that he can pardon them from. So it's like these courts and us as people, we need to like start attacking them and making their lives as uncomfortable as possible. When it comes to like the Republican Party and the voters and all that stuff, I don't even worry about those people no more because it's like I cannot hurt those people more than Donald Trump can. So I just
Yeah.
say what he is doing, let him keep doing it. He gonna take care of MAGA. He gonna take care of the Trump supporters. He gonna take care of these red states. He gonna take care of like all of this. I don't want to call him trash. I don't want to call him trash. I can't think of nothing else to say but that. But he don't handle that. So I don't worry about red states. I don't argue with Trump people or MAGA. I don't argue with them because there's no need to. Donald Trump is going to take care of those people. Right now, he is taking care of a lot of them because unfortunately, Donald Trump hasn't even mentioned hurricanes or nothing. And his people are sitting outside and their home or their trailer is up the street because it used to be right here. They don't
Yeah.
have roofs over their homes. They don't have like roads and streets and bridges. And their governors is asking him for, hey, these people voted for you like 70, 80% in this county. Can you help us clean up this county so we can vote for Republicans again? Donald Trump, like, no. Like, why do we have to argue with people like that online? We can't do anything to these people worse than what Donald Trump and the elected Republican Party is doing to them or is about to do to them. There's nothing we can do worse. We just got to
Well,
worry about the people
you were
holding him up. That's what we need to target.
you were talking about taking out the pillars, and one of the
Yeah.
pillars is Stephen Miller, that creepy looking fucking superhero villain. Uh, but there's some shit going on with him now. He's got to be losing his shit.
Stephen Miller, this is so me. But every time I look at him, and I've only seen like one white penis in my life, and he looks like that, like in a condom, because like a used condom, because he always like so slimy. He's like a penis with like a face on it. It's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
I don't think that he's like I think he dodged the bullet with his wife if she is leaving him for Elon Musk because it's like, Heifer, you went from Stephen Miller to Elon Musk.
Well, see,
Ugh.
see, that's the story I was getting to, and it's going to drive somebody like Stephen Miller nuts because it impugns his masculinity. The story was, and I don't even know if it's true. I don't care if it's true. Just keep telling the story. The story is Stephen Miller's married to a woman who was
Strike one,
appointed to a position in Doge, right? And
strike
so
two,
she's working for Elon Musk. There's a
strike
rumor
three.
going on that Stephen Miller, his wife, and Elon were in kind of a thruple, as they say. Don't know if that's true, but I like the image. And so now Elon's leaving, and he's taken Stephen Miller's wife with him. And of course, the
Yeah.
rumor is that Elon stole Stephen Miller's wife. There's memes out there with Stephen Miller sitting in a cuck chair, and it's just hilarious. It's got to be destroying that motherfucker.
I think if she did leave, that's man for Elon Musk. I think she did it because she just didn't want to like have to physically be with either of them. Like I think these men are just disgusting to her. But she is like a very self-serving person and she all about her paper. And maybe she will be artificially inseminated with Elon Musk 15th, 16th child. I don't know how many of them got at this point. Maybe that's it. Because with Elon Musk, when he was admitting that the ketamine gave him bladder problems and he's impotent and he's been like artificially inseminating all these women, maybe she just
Wow.
feel like, hey, this is a way for me to make my bag and not have to like put out. You know what I mean? Like maybe that's how she's looking at it. And I'm not saying it's a bad thing because like me being born and raised in Vegas, I'm like, pro ho. I have no problem with them at all. I think it needs to be a regulated industry. Like, look how much money you can make. Like when you did with marijuana, you could do that with hoes too. Like just regulate it. Make sure they get their STD checks. Make sure that they, are safe and taken care of. And I don't understand why it's illegal. That's just me. So I ain't mad at her for it. It's just like, but these are the men that you picking. Get your life together. But I
Those two
do
better be rich or
Elon
powerful because they got no other redeeming values. That's for sure.
That's true, but Elon Musk is a bigger bag. I think that she
Yeah.
needs to like make sure she have an attorney and an ironclad agreement before she go there with him because he's psycho and you can see he already got baby mama drama. But other than that, get your paper. I ain't mad at her. I'm
Well,
not mad at her at
now,
all. But I do think that this is an indication of it's like ETTD, everything Trump touches dies.
yeah.
And I think that's like what they say, like ETTD. That's what that's what the kids say about it, but I do think that's true because Stephen Miller has been in proximity to Trump for like a while, and so
Yeah.
has Elon Musk. And so it's like, oh, y'all been around him a little too long now. Y'all starting to get that stank on y'all. Of course, you getting ready to lose some stuff that you feel is valuable to you. So you got to get up out of there. But I don't think Elon Musk is out of the government. I know everybody is saying that, but I know that he's like a special government employee and you can only be that for like 130 days or something like that. And his time is up. So he's
Yeah.
not in the White House, but those are still running crazy right now. I don't know if you see, but they shutting down OSHA offices left and right as we speak. And I
Yeah.
didn't know this, but they had a special like department in NOAA for fishermen. I didn't know how important this was until like Kelsey was like, was listening to an article she was reading. So with NOAA shutting down the weather service is harmful to fishermen. And like, yeah, duh, that makes sense. They need to know what the weather is like. But it's also dangerous to marine wildlife, some of these like reports that they're not getting, because you don't know when you're like overfishing or over, pulling crabs out of certain locations. So there are certain like marine life that can become extinct if they are not getting those reports. On top of that, they're not getting weather reports either. So like people are not like talking about how serious that is, but apparently that's like a really, really bad thing that Big Balls is doing right now in the government. And Elon Musk is the one that's telling them to do all of this stuff. So I think that they're making this big show about Elon Musk being out of the government. And, he might be around, he might be in the background, we might listen to his opinion, but technically, nah, he not here. I don't believe that for a second. I don't believe that
No.
for a second. I think Elon Musk is getting every single penny that he invested in Trump, and all of the people around him, Stephen Miller and the rest of them, their lives are like hell because they cannot get rid of him. But I don't think Elon Musk is going nowhere. But that's my take
Well,
on it.
Donald Trump was asked about this rumor about this heavy drug use by Elon Musk, and
Yeah.
and he denied. I didn't know anything about it. Well, you're with him all the fucking time. You know when the
He
motherfucker's
be hot
high.
too.
But it's funny. During the last press conference where they were sending him off,
Yeah.
they isolated a camera on Elon Musk, and this motherfucker's he's doing like an imitation of Ray Charles and doing this shit, and moving his hands, and this guy's either fucked up or epileptic. I don't know which one it is,
You
but
don't know what he
so,
was
so
doing? Boomer. He was tweaking in the corner.
no shit, no, but well, and here's the other thing. He comes to that meeting with a black eye.
Yeah.
Now, he says his 4-year-old son hit him in the eye. I got
Poor
a
little ex. He
5 year
was playing
I got a 5-year-old granddaughter, pretty solid kid. She couldn't give me a black eye. Just could not give me a black eye. But you heard the story of what supposedly really happened, right? What supposedly, and
Who
this
did it?
is I, when I say this, you're going to go, how the fuck? Anyway, apparently there was a little kerfuffle, and they've even announced this from the White House. So something like this did happen. Elon Musk was arguing with Secretary of Treasury Scott Bessant, and Elon Musk pushed Scott Bessant, and Scott Bessant hit him in the eye. Now here's my thing.
That's
Here's my
it. Come
here,
on.
here's my
Kelsey wouldn't
here,
get her stick with that food.
here's my thing. I've seen Scott Bessent. I've looked at him. I've watched him talk. If he hit Elon Musk, that would have been hilarious. But that fucker doesn't even look like he could beat his own meat, let alone Elon Musk or any other human. He's the biggest wussy looking motherfucker I've ever seen. But that's what's happening. There's infighting amongst these people. There are people that are upset with Elon Musk because he fucked up. I mean, Donald Trump is asking why didn't he save us $1 trillion? He fucked up. Excuse me. He fucked up,
I think
and
that
now Donald Trump's embarrassed.
I think that this is like I don't want to say like a dysfunctional work environment because like right now, like the White House is like low key like a trap house. When you think about who is running our government
It
right now,
is.
it's like a bunch of drug addicts and alcoholics, like straight up. Judge Jeanine Pirro, put her in the alcohol column. And when you have people that are like own substances or drinking substances and then you add the fact that they are incompetent, and then you add the fact that they got to deal with Donald Trump and his funky behind. It is like toxic times 10. I don't want to pay for a lot of stuff. I don't. But I would pay just for like one day to have one of those invisible cloaks and just walk around the White House and see these fools like tripping out. I would pay for a cloak. Like I don't even need the cloak for like my life. I just need it for a day. So I could just kind of witness the complete S show that is going on in the White House because you know it is. And I don't even think it's work related. So I do think that if he was popped in the eye, I think that, maybe they was just kind of like tripping and they didn't have whatever uppers it is that give them before they go out here and spew these lies. I think that they was like, I don't know if you ever been like around a rough, well, I don't want to say a rough crowd, but like a house party or something, and everybody had a little too much to drink, and maybe this person over here, he just high, he really don't want to be bothered, but you keep messing with him, you get him and pop you in your eye. It could have been something like that. I don't know if it was behind a woman or if they was just tripping. It's like it's just a
But
trashy, tacky trap house.
you know,
That's what they turned the White House into.
it's funny
They
you
might
said that because I think of when I think of the White House right now, it's like when you were in
yeah,
high school and you had a party at the house, and
mm-hmm,
every one of the worst people showed up, and it just
yeah.
becomes a fucking melee. Uh,
And there's not an adult in sight.
no, no, not one. They're
Yeah,
all acting out of emotions, and I think Elon maybe faulted Scott Bessant because some people try to say that Scott Bessant is one of the close to the adults in the room, and I don't believe that. But I think Elon kind of faults um, Bessant for it. And then when he pushed Bessant, Bessant had to do something.
yeah.
He picked up his pencil thin arms and took a swing at him and caught him just right with his ring or something. I don't know what the fuck happened, um, uh, but
Hey, I
there
feel
were
like,
rumors. There were rumors of Scott Bessent earlier on wanting to get out of the administration because he felt like it was ruining his reputation. Too late,
yeah.
motherfucker. It's ruined.
I mean, the moment you said, okay, I'll be a part of the, but you got to think about that when we look at the people that Donald Trump is like bringing on, who can he pick who is qualified, cares about their reputation, cares about this country, and cares about the rule of law? So every time you ask, like they're qualified, half the people that he was thinking about, he can't pick them. Care about their reputation, that knocks off another 25%. You know what I mean? So every time you just check it off, checking people off, and you are left with bottom feeders. Like my
Right.
grandmother would call them low crawlers. Like you are just left with the bottom of the barrel. You are left with low crawlers. Who are you gonna pick? And
Well,
even
that's
then, I can lie, but even then at the low crawler level, probably some of them will probably be like, you know what? I think my mom is calling me. I gotta go home. My daddy's sick. Like they will be come up with anything like I want no parts of that. Maybe they're not gonna tell him the real reason as to why they're saying no, but like who else can he pick at this point that is actually gonna
yeah,
be
you're
worth it?
absolutely right. The first term, he did get some quasi decent people, people that may not have been good, but they at least could understand what they need to do. But
Yeah,
after that first term, everyone on his administration and his staff, his cabinet, they either got fired, they quit, or they got fucking indicted. So when he came to this term, some people think, oh, he's just picking the worst people. You're right. The good people won't buy into it. They
no.
want a future. These people who are in here now, that you think Pete Hegseth's going to have a fun future after this is all said and done? No. Marco Rubio? No. Marco Rubio's political career is done.
Pete Hegseth can't go to the restroom by himself. And I think a lot of people, if you don't know people with addiction and you're seeing like his wife was around him all the time, his brother's around him all the time, they sitting on meetings with him or whatever, those are just strictly like his accountability partners. Like he
Yeah.
cannot be trusted by himself. He can't be trusted to be in stressful situations without somebody there to like keep him calm. So when he leave the meeting, he not hitting up the bar up the street. Like if he doesn't have his wife and his brother around him like that, it's not gonna be good. So should they be in on these meetings? No. Should they be he be running by certain plans with them? Absolutely not. But if they were not there, he would be 10 times versus what he is. I
Yeah.
When you are around people with addiction, you know what that is. And these are, they moving like accountability partners. I do appreciate the fact that now they are there, but they're making like a conscious effort of being like out of the frame, just kind of like in the corner a little bit. So where they're not bringing so much attention to it. But, you
Right.
know, he needs them there. And to be honest with you, we need them to be there. It can't get
Yeah.
no worse than what it's doing right now. Like we need them to be there. So I don't trip about the wife and the brother. I understand that we shouldn't have someone leading our military who is this vulnerable and able to be compromised and is wholly unqualified. I get the
Weak.
position that his brother and wife puts us in, but I just don't want to think about them not being there and making sure that he is sober and not drunk under the dang table. This is so
It's
sad. This is so
it's
sad.
interesting. There's two people I think of a phrase when I think of them. It's be careful what you ask for. You may just get it. And that is Cash Patel and Dan Bongino. Cash Patel, you haven't heard from that motherfucker in a while. Where's he? He's the director of the FBI. He had all these big plans. He was going to
I
do all
heard
these things. We haven't heard a word. What's that?
I said I heard he was getting eye surgery, but let me stop. I'm sorry. I
No,
try
but
not to like make fun of people with disabilities, but I don't like him, so I think it's appropriate. Every time I
yeah,
see him, I'm like, I need to like listen to him talk. I can't look at that man when he talk. I can't, because not only with it's like maybe if he was like articulate and educated and knew what he was talking about, that's different. But like the clownish and buffoonish lies and conspiracy theories that come out of his mouth, and he got the nerve to be sitting up there looking like a fool too. Like it's just like it's cartoonish at this point. Like if I wasn't in America, I'd be laughing my butt off 24/7. Like, look at these fools in America. Like, it's just like a comedy sketch at this point. I can't watch him because he's just crazy. So I just have to listen to him. But listening to the nonsense and have him looking like nonsense, I can't do it. I can't do
you mentioned
it.
you mentioned a cartoon about Cash Patel, and every
Yeah.
time I see him, it reminds me of a cartoon, but you wouldn't know it because it's way before your time. This is a reference that only the old people in the audience will get. But every time I look at Cash Patel with those weird looking eyes, I think of a cartoon. It was called Barney Google with the googly eyes.
Wait,
And
is that the guy with the big old glasses, or am I wrong?
yeah, yeah. He doesn't have the glasses, but the eyes, man, they're fucking wild. They are just wild. But um,
Oh, they. Oh,
but
they. He
but
just
but
needs somebody.
but over and above that, Dan Bongino's obviously the pressure of his job being second in command in the FBI getting to him.
Yeah.
He's going, I gave up everything. I had a podcast. I'm working hard. Yeah. You wanted this motherfucker. Now show us what you can do. And then they fuck up because the whole time leading up to it, they say, "Oh yeah, the Jeffrey Epstein file. He didn't kill himself." And then when he gets in there, and they look at the list and they go, "Oh fuck, yeah, I guess he did kill himself." Now all the MAGA people are pissed at him because they believe whatever they told him the first time, and now this guy is both these fuckers are just going deep state and saying what's always been said.
This is so I don't even try to comprehend it because it's never going to make sense. But you have all this stuff that goes down during Donald Trump's administration. We even
Yeah,
hear people say the Biden lockdowns. as if we wasn't locked down under Donald Trump. Like it is
Right.
like that's like when people say Obama didn't do anything about 9/11. Like their brains are twisted in a way that you can't untwist them knots. And so you just have to say, yep, it is what it is. However, when it comes to him in particular, this go down under Donald Trump's watch. And you sit there, you make conspiracy theory after conspiracy theory after conspiracy theory. And then you get in there again under Donald Trump's watch. And you try to give these people the same conspiracy theories that you've been giving them for the past 4 years. No, you program these people to think a certain way. Like you literally program them to think a certain way. And then you put yourself in a position to where you have to go against everything that you just spent the past like 5, 6 years telling these people. You completely have to go against all of that. And I was telling you before we recorded, when it comes to Trump supporters, there's like two categories. They're either brainwashed or they stupid. And the stupid people will start to ask questions when what you are telling them they are not seeing. You know what I mean? Like the example I gave is Trump saying the gas is $1.99. If you brainwashed, you're gonna be like, it's $1.99 somewhere. But if you stupid, you're gonna be like, well, it's not $1.99. So you're gonna start looking on your phone to see where it's not $1.99. And even though you dumb, it's gonna dawn on you that hey, gas price is not $1.99. Right now, the brainwashed people, they cool. But the stupid people are saying, like, well, no, because this not like, look at my phone. This is what you told me. And it don't add up. What's going on? So what they're seeing the FAFOs when it comes to this whole Jeffrey Epstein thing, when it comes to tariffs is going to bring in all this money to the country and the country's pay for it and not the people. The stupid people are like, I'm dumb, but 1+1 = 2, and you telling me it's 5. You know what I mean? So he's getting a pushback of the people who just really wasn't paying attention, was really gullible, just really didn't know any better. And now they are starting to see what they're being told is not reality. So it's kind of like that reality check is dawning on them. I
Hold on,
don't
I'm going to show
know.
you something.
Oh,
I'm going to show
last.
you something. See that? That's Barney Google with the googly eyes. It's a cartoon from like the 40s or 50s that I used to watch when I was a kid. That is Cash Patel. And Dan Bongino,
Somebody
he was a
post that on
Secret
it.
Service agent. These guys are in this position. They have no clue what they're fucking doing. They didn't realize they'd have to go sit in an
But
office and actually do boring shit too. They don't get it.
yeah, and I don't think they understand when you say qualifications, people think like on paper, are you qualified? But when you build yourself up to be in this type of position, you know
Yeah.
how to handle pressure. You know how to handle the media. You know how to move and not put yourself in certain situations. You have to have some kind of street smarts about yourself as well as your book smarts. And you have to know how to handle that type of pressure. They don't know how to do that. They know how to sit online and not even like research and just say what's going on. They just sit there and lie and spew conspiracy theories. And you expect for them to like have a hand in running the country and deal with the pressure of not only the people, but a boss that's like an a-hole times 20. We have like it's crazy, but we have like this pot of like we have a pot of who's gonna get fired first and a pot who was gonna just say, here's my resignation, I'm leaving first. And every week you can like update your pot and and you can change. And I'm sitting here like, it's gotta be one of these guys that's gonna be the first to like turn in their resignation.
Yeah.
But I think
I
they
mean,
still useless idiots right now. But when he's sitting on Fox News crying damn near about
yeah.
his marriage and his wife, it's a reason why a lot of people in these positions have the spouses that they do or have maybe had a couple of marriages under their belts because it's not an easy position to be in. It's just not.
Well,
What did they do?
who knew
But
that being second in command in the FBI was going to be so much harder than doing a podcast in your basement? Who fucking knew?
that's what I'm saying. Like they didn't feel the weight of the office before they got there. Like
Yeah. They're so caught
I,
up in themselves. They think they can come in and just wing it, and they can't. I was going to ask you about, you mentioned
how
before
do
about
we
this.
directly with the FBI? Now, some of the stuff I know that they like were just like drooling at the mouth. You know what I mean? Like when
Yeah.
they took the Civil Rights Division, which is like a very prideful division to be a part of, and they
Yeah.
turned that to start investigating hate crimes against white people. Okay, like that's just one thing. That's just some racist crap that you're doing. But what about the rest of it?
Yeah.
Like, what did they think they was gonna do?
They just
They
thought they'd pop
stupid.
in there and wing it all the way through. You mentioned something earlier about this upcoming. We're now 2 weeks away from it. Um, this
Yeah.
parade for Donald Trump. It's not for a flag day. It's not for the military. Um, it's to grant ingratiate Donald Trump and try to make him look powerful and tough, like Erdogan or Putin or something like that. That's what he's trying to do. There was a point where I'm going, oh
It's
God, we
disgusting.
don't need to do that. I'm fucking excited for it. I'm absolutely excited for it because it goes back to what I've said all the time. No matter what Donald Trump does, he will fuck it up. He will, without question, fuck it
Yeah.
up. He brings on Elon Musk to do Doge and make cuts. He fucked it up. He fucked it up. And this military parade is going to be an absolute joke. I think it's dangerous because it puts a target in Washington, D.C., where if somebody wanted to do something, it could do a lot of fucking damage very quickly. I hope that doesn't happen. I'm not even sure that it would happen, but that's a risk I wouldn't take if I was security for Donald Trump.
I mean, the harm that he puts himself, okay, whatever, but the people who are tasked with protecting him, the people
Hmm.
around him, it's just he is so selfish that he literally doesn't care. Do you remember me talking about this parade after I read Agenda 47?
Yeah.
This is in Agenda 47. And for me, I think I was saying, and I still believe it to this day, if you read, like, you read Project 2025 and you're like, this is just diabolical. This is just like evil. Like, there's just no way. Like, you can't comprehend, even though we're in it, like, it's still like unconscionable to a lot of people. Agenda 47, when he put that out, I swear it reads as if you just went and I don't even want to say any of the children in my community because they damn sure better be saying at least something about solving war or hunger or something. But
Yeah.
this is kind of like an immature child saying, if I was president for a day,
Yeah.
this is Agenda 47. And when you read Agenda 47 and all that crap that's in there, this is just like, I want to be president for a day. I'm 5 years old. My daddy never told me no, and I'm a brat. Like, that's what this is, and that's what it plans to be. The dangerous part about that is Donald Trump does not know who he's playing with. He does not know who he's dealing with. He does not know who he's playing with. When you think about the people he is allowing into this country with the
Oh,
gold
yeah.
cards, whatever, these are the type of people who will stage certain things. So they will stage a certain attempt, whether it's on anti protesters or whether it's on Trump himself. And then they will promote it as if these people over here did it or these people over there did it. And you want to talk about the enemy from within and everybody pointing fingers at everybody because you got some people in here that's just stirring the pot because Donald Trump don't know who the hell he dealing with. That's the kind of stuff that I worry about when it comes to that. Is because the people he is letting in still having ties to people who really do want to take this country down. And I don't put it above them to stage something and try to make it look like other people are doing it. I don't think that MAGA remembers when Trump was asked about weapons and guns and all that stuff before he started Second Amendment this, we don't care, before he was basically brought by the NRA. And he
Right.
was talking about, you know what, we need to take the weapons first and ask questions later. This would
Yeah.
be a push in that direction, especially when he have certain people in his ear and him being as cowardly and as afraid as he is, like, oh yeah, they can go shoot up a school, but they shooting at me now. We can't have that. And when they start going into some of these areas where they have fetishized weapons and guns over the lives of children and they start doing stuff like that, that's when it gets ugly. But these are the type of people who he is being around. These are the type of people who he is allowing into his inner circle. These are he's like, he thinks he is shaking these people down.
Yeah.
He's not shaking these people down. They are paying for the access that they have to him so they can pull off stuff like this. I don't think that Trump would see it coming. Hopefully, the Secret Service and other people would understand it. I can't even say the FBI at this point because of who they've gotten rid of, but
Yeah.
you would hope that other people would see what's going on. But he's not even reading his daily briefings. And we saw what happened when George W. wasn't reading his daily briefings and what happened with 9/11
Right.
is
Right.
that kind of dangerous situation. So I can see somebody coming in here and manipulating the situation and having like people, you think we fighting each other already, but having people like for real, fighting each other, especially if he's in a situation to where Trump feels like, I need to take away these weapons from the people because if I don't, I'm going to end up in a box before McDonald's get me there type of stuff.
Yeah.
And I think,
Uh,
but at the same time, that could make allies among enemies, if that makes sense.
yeah. Well, let me ask you a question because of all the people I know, you've been the most boots on the ground with
Mhm.
regards to protests. You've been to a number of protests all around the country. You've been very active in this. You are, without question, an activist. With this June 14th parade, do you think that there's going to be some massive protest around it or around the country on that same day to try to steal some of the thunder?
Yeah, I think like the last time, remember when I was in DC and I was sending you those pictures of like that something. Oh man, it was a bad feeling that day because all you see was like big old like pictures and posters of Trump like everywhere. That was just,
Yeah,
man, it's crazy. But the last time that I was there, we were talking about, anti-protest and things like that. And so the conclusion that we were coming away with was the best thing to do is not have anti-protest, but get the eyes away from Trump and his event because that would be the thing that keeps people the most safe, but then
I
that would
agree.
also be the thing that would boost him and his ego the most. You do have people that's like, nope, we don't give a damn. We gonna be in DC. We gonna say what we gotta say. But I would say for a majority, as a collective, it's gonna be drawing people's eyes away from Trump and that crap that he has going on that day. And it's so disrespectful. It's just like so disrespectful in a way. And then the thing about it is that a lot of MAGA, they understand how disrespectful it is. They are just going to turn an eye away from the disrespect because it's Trump. Like you see them on Memorial Day. If any liberal or libtard says happy Memorial, we're going to, all this crazy crap that they say.
Yeah.
Donald Trump comes out and says happy Memorial. And all those little videos started coming down. So it's like they know, but it's Donald Trump and they're just going to turn a blind eye to it. And I think that this is going to discuss them in a way that maybe they are not prepared for um, because it's kind of like it hit different. Like if you seeing this happen in like China or North Korea or whatever, you're feeling like disgusted by that. When you see that go down in America, you're going to be even more disgusted. I don't think that they realize how disgusted they're going to be when they see that crap. But of course,
Yeah.
the cult is going to think it's completely badass and they love it. But
I wanted to ask you this question because you've been to a lot of protests and you just so happen to be a person of color. We hear a lot of creators talking on TikTok and some other places saying black
yeah,
people are staying away in droves from these protests. And it's not to demean the people who are protesting, but they're
yeah,
suggesting that with black people there, that might incite more violence because the
It was
white supremacist would be more apt to um, go after the people
not
of color. What's that?
not just them, the police. So we were seeing that it was somewhere. So from where I'm from, they call them aunties because they're like older black women. They're, you respect them like you would your mother. So we just call them aunties. So there
Yeah.
started being like videos coming out of aunties being arrested. Like you go into like a crowd of people and you pick out like the three black women that's there, put them in ties and take them to jail, but everybody else is standing there. That was one thing, but then you saw the people around them was like protesting or nothing. They just like, oh, they got arrested. All right. You know what I mean? So it did dwindle like a lot. So those of us who was going out, they was like, no, it's not worth it because we're gonna be the only ones that's getting arrested, and the people around us are
Right.
gonna just allow that to happen. So like that dwindled a lot. Me personally have been told like to my face and like not in a rude or a disrespectful way, but just in a blunt and an honest way. Like you already know what this is. There's groups. I think I sent you a video like last week ago, like these black guys that was like they're going into other states. I guess you could
Mhm.
compare them to like the Black Panthers because they're like kind of militant and they're going from like state to state into different communities. And they're like, hey, when they start like targeting black people, because already they trying to say like all black people, we Haitian and we're a Haitian gang and we tearing up America. They're not putting us back on the auction block. So when they start coming into our communities and rounding us up like they do in Hispanic people, this is how we handle that. When they start
Yeah.
busting in our houses, this is how we handle that, right? So they've already started doing that. And they're like, so we got you. They come into your neighborhood, they come into your house, they come into your community, they messing with your kids coming home from schools. Oh, we got you. We not supposed to allow what's happening in the Hispanic community. We ain't going down like that. But if you get your black ass up and you go out there to a protest and you put yourself in that situation, you on your own.
Yeah.
And that happened when we started seeing them target, the aunties at the protests. So it's not like it's just like we weren't there. It's not that we still not there. It's just not as many as it was. And it's been
Right.
times when it's like, yeah, you can't go outside today. So we know you got your laptop, you need some work to do. You need to fall back and do that because
Now it's funny. It's funny you should mention that because I know you've been warned by your family many times not to
yeah.
go, and you still go.
When you go, this is the crazy part. You can see like police officers that are there and they are like sitting on the outside and they just chilling like okay we just posted up getting a check, but if I start walking like towards the protest with like black people that's with me, you can see them kind of like stand up at attention a little bit, like this is kind of what they want and black people are not giving it to them. So I think that's where the frustration is coming from. But you can see that sometimes. And, if
So
it's
what,
not
what,
safe
what,
for you or the people around you, you kind of have to fall back sometimes.
so when you walk up to a protest, what do you think these cops are sitting on the side, thinking to themselves, "Motherfucker, here's the 2025 version of Angela Davis. She's coming in here to start some shit." You think they
Or
really?
sometimes they'll give it away because certain things you can't do. So if a police officer comes up to you and asks you your name, I can't say Angela Bassett, and that's not my name. You get arrested for that. If they
Yeah.
ask for your ID, you have to identify yourself. Like stuff like that, you have to do. And they have no bones about it. You'll be like at a protest, mind your business. They will come up there and ask you for your ID. They don't care. They're
No.
not asking nobody else for their ID. They're asking you for your ID. And they want you to flip out. They want you to trip out because they want to take you to jail. Like that's really what they are doing. So it's not like, the stuff that you see on social media is like something that doesn't happen. It happens. That's what they want. Um, I was telling you this before, but we've been seeing like a lot of videos of this is so stupid. Eric Chauvin, because we have not been
Derek
giving them
Chauvin.
a reason,
Derek.
yeah, a reason to like arrest us or a reason to make us riot or a reason to make us go to the streets. Like we just haven't been giving them that. And they are itching for it, like itching for it. So you've been seeing like all these like accounts with like these MAGAs, straight up Nazis, right? Making
Yeah.
videos like, oh, Trump he's gonna release Chauvin. And in the moment that he does that, all of these black people are gonna be in the street. It's really gonna go down. Make sure you arm yourself, know your Second Amendment rights, and Kyle Rittenhouse and all this crazy crap that they are saying online. And they are just
Well,
like, why black people not out here tripping about it?
the thing about it
Food.
is
They don't
people are,
understand when it comes to Chauvin. This is what they don't understand. He still has 22 years after his Fed charges, right?
yeah,
So
right.
let's say Donald Trump pardon him tomorrow. They're gonna put him in handcuffs, put him in a police car, take him down there to the state prison, and he gonna start doing his state time of 22 years, right?
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
For him. I can't. But from
Well,
what I know, is especially when you was a police officer, especially when you did what you did, your life is a lot better in the feds than it is in the state. So I can't speak for him, but I'm pretty sure he is in his cell saying, hey, y'all need to shut the hell up. Y'all try to send me to a state prison. Shut up. But
yeah.
this is what they think is going to happen. They think that Donald Trump is going to snap his fingers. He going to leave the feds. And then all of a sudden, all these black people going to be out there like screaming and tripping. Even if he didn't have to go to do 22 years in the state, even if that didn't happen, we would not be out there tripping and giving them a reason to come out with their guns and everything else it is that they are wanting to do. Like we
Let
just
me ask you.
sitting there looking at them like y'all is being real stupid right now. But they are not only did they expect us to do it when you see some of the stuff that they've been doing, like, oh hey, we're gonna turn the civil rights division into looking into hate crimes for white people. When they said, oh, you know what, we need to make black people pay reparations to white people. Like they are literally trying to lure us into the streets
Yeah,
like that.
they're trying to bait you. Let me ask you this though. Derek Chauvin say he doesn't have state charges, and the
Yeah.
feds, Donald Trump gives him a pardon. How
Mm-hmm.
many minutes do you give him once he walks outside the prison? I bet he doesn't last 15 minutes. He better
I
stay in
don't
jail if he wants to stay alive.
I think that's the best thing for him. I know that the state is not where he would want to be.
Yeah.
I think where he's at right now is probably his best situation. I know he would, if I was him, I would want those people online who are just itching to pull out their weapons. And especially now when they start talking about Kyle Rittenhouse and all this crap again. Um, like, it's so evil and hateful. And we are supposed to be like the wild, crazed people. You know what I mean? And it's kind of
Yeah.
like, are you looking at yourself? Like they really do want this and they want this excuse so that they can like go hunting basically. That's what they want
Yeah.
to do. And we are denying them that and it's driving them crazy. But I know that he will be dealt with and we won't even have to be in the streets to make sure that that happens. It's so
Well, here,
weird that they think that we are just kind of like stupid. Like it's so weird to think that.
that's a good point, and this is why they do that, because they're so bought in to the white supremacists' attitudes. They
Yeah.
they in their minds believe that all black people are savages, and they're just constantly looking for trouble and constantly looking to fight, which isn't true. But they bought into it so much they think that they can taunt you into something. And like you
I don't
say, you're not stupid.
yeah. And I don't understand why their communities allow that. You know what I mean? Like I was sitting here, the groups that I was telling you about, that's like the black guys that's going into communities, like, like, hey, we need to be prepared for it when this government try to come after us type stuff. Um, they've also gone into communities and brought food, school
Right,
supplies.
right.
Yeah, they've done all kind of like cool stuff. They had an event the other day called all we got is us. It's just like a big name for an event, but that's what they called it. And like kids was like running around with like their sandwiches, they chips, but at the same time, like getting school supplies and stuff already because they like, look, we already know with these tariffs, when it comes time to go back to school, like our people ain't gonna be able to buy stuff. So like we got a bunch of
Right.
it right now, and it's like handed out in the communities and stuff, right? But then when you look at these people in Kentucky, like recruiting, and they out there and they are spewing hate and all of this other kind of stuff, and they community is like people are literally homeless right now, and they don't have any
Absolutely.
aid from the federal government coming at all. And you are marching in the street with Confederate flags and all of this other kind of stuff, and your people are hungry. Your
Yeah.
people, you're not helping them like rebuild their homes. You're not helping feed their children. You just marching through the street. To me, I don't understand why their communities allow them to get away with that. Like, if you think that white people are strong and we could do it on our own and this, that, and the third, why are you helping us rebuild? Why are you promoting a man who is kicking us when we're down? And they're
Yeah.
just marching through the street. Like, I I don't care what color your group is. You come into my group, into my community, and you see the pain and you see the suffering, and you just come in here with some, we should just march through here and we just gonna talk hateful trash because that's just what we do.
Yeah.
We can't
Yeah.
eat that. We can't buy groceries with that. What is the point of you being here with this crap right now? But like, they don't see a problem with that. Like, help the people, try to build them up, try to put back into the community that you've been taking so much from. And they just walking around, and people are hungry, they're homeless, they are upset. I saw a woman giving an interview the other day, and she was like, well, somebody gonna have to do something. And
Yeah.
I'm like, so
No.
you just gonna sit there and wait on Jesus? Because this administration already said they not sending you help. Your governor has already said, look, we don't have it. There's nothing we could do for these people. We have to figure this out. And she is on the news saying somebody is going to have to do something. And she has these Nazis like walking downtown in her state. And it's
And
like,
she's and she
what
still
do you think?
supports Donald Trump. That's the
Yeah,
crazy thing.
that
That
was
is the
sad. I
crazy.
don't know what they think is going to happen. A part of, and I guess that's the question for you. Like, what do they think is going to happen? I'm split on that because sometimes I say to myself, they are still saying that, well, eventually he's going to send us aid, or maybe they do
Mm.
think that there's something that Congress can do, like that empowerment period. Like, Eric gave me all this information on empowerment, and that has not kicked in yet. And Donald Trump has been in there for how long? And it's just kind of like they're not pushing back and they're not fighting. They're just kind of sitting there saying, well, something's going to happen at some point. Like, how do
Yeah.
you just sit there and you just wait when you don't have a home? And like, how do you just sit there and be like, okay, something gonna happen sooner or later, so I'm just gonna sit here until it happens? I don't understand that. I don't get that at
Okay.
all. Somebody got to get up, pick up a brick and say, okay, at least we need to start putting the house. It's not funny, but at least we need to start putting the house back together or get a porta potty. Let's just do something. But we are just sitting here saying somebody got to do something. I, I don't get it.
I, well, we're at the end here. We're going to wrap things up. I just, we were talking about Donald Trump and him losing his mind, and this just came on Raw Story, and it's perfectly
Don't let me forget
epitomizes.
about the terror.
Oh, okay.
Go ahead.
Donald Trump on Saturday evening reposted online a message from someone claiming that President Joe Biden was executed in 2020 and replaced by a clone. Donald Trump, our president of the United States, found it in his vision to repost that. That's who we're dealing with. somebody who is just not fucking serious or not intelligent enough to understand what a ridiculous conspiracy theory is.
And last I checked, he can post that. He can post
Yeah,
about Taylor Swift, Beyonce, Bruce Springsteen. That man has yet to post about his supporters who he has been denying aid to.
absolutely.
He could in the post to say, I sent it back to the States with the people who have been affected. Hopefully your governors get your crap together. He hasn't even mentioned it. Like these
Wow.
people literally like don't exist to him. And I think that's part of what they are not seeing that they need to wake up and see because they don't see the bigger picture.
Right.
Because when you are flooded out, when you don't have a home anymore, when your crops can't grow, when your farm is gone, JD Vance and Big Ag is gonna come in there and they're gonna buy your land, they're gonna buy your property, and it's survival of the fittest. You can't go to the food bank. You can't get a job unless you over here working on one of our farms. And I don't know what they think these racist South Africans is gonna do. That's supposed to be farmers, but they not. That's a whole nother story. Those are the people who is gonna be running that farm. And you and your kids are gonna be sitting there getting paid peanuts, working the family farm that generations before you built.
Right.
And you are just gonna sit there and allow them to do y'all like that? It's like you don't see what they doing. Like they are literally, it's not funny, but it's like it's so obvious that it's like, how do you not see this? But they are like killing your farms right now,
Wow.
like via weather and via just like running it into the ground. And when you lose that farm, they are going to come in and they are going to swoop that up. All the
Absolutely.
Hispanic people, brown people that they're kicking out of this country, they need somebody to work that land. They will pay you to do it, but it's not your land. You're not going to get paid where you think that you're going to get paid. And then when you see like all of these other like white immigrants that they are bringing in, those are the people that's going to be running your farms. And how they don't see that is beyond me because Donald Trump thinks of you the way that he treats you. And he treats
Yeah.
them like trash. When he
Yeah.
look at his supporters, I really do think that Donald Trump just despises those people. He sees them as just kind of like low, trashy people. He don't want to be associated with them. His own inauguration, he like, yeah, I know y'all spent y'all last dollars trying to get out here for this inauguration, but I can't get my hair wet. Y'all on your own. Or I ain't got enough people here to make the party work. So I don't know what to tell y'all. Like,
Yeah.
leave them hanging all the time, just abusing them and treating them like crap. And they just, you
There,
know,
there,
I
there, there was
kind of,
something else there was something else you were going to bring up. What was that? The 10th or
oh,
something?
so the econ class that I paid for is getting his money's worth because I didn't know this. So have you been seeing these people online when they shop and they get like their tariffs amount on their added to their total? It's kind of like, well, wait a minute, this tariff is only 25% from this country, or this tariff is only 30% from China. But I'm paying more than like 50% in tariffs, right?
Right.
So tariffs are layered. Like, hold
Yeah.
on. This is disrespectful, but she said, Mom, read it exactly how I put it. And if it don't make sense to you, it will at least make sense to Boomer. You know how jacked up it is for your kid to say you ain't gonna get it, but the old guy go get it.
Yeah.
Anyway, so tariffs are layered. So
Okay.
some of the tariffs, okay, so there's a Section 301 tariff that's like 25%. And I guess that's related to like unfair trade practices.
Right.
Then there's another tariff of 20%, get this, which is a fentanyl tariff fee. Then there's another fee of 10% for a tariff, which is the reciprocal tariff fee. And then you add the 30% tariff fee on top of that. So people are thinking that they're paying a 30% tariff fee, but they are paying a layered tariff fee. So you're paying
Right.
30% here, 25% or 10% for the fentanyl, 25, like you just, there's layers to the tariff at the end of
Right.
the day. And so just think about how much that was when that fool had them tariffs up to 145%.
Oh,
Crazy.
yeah,
All
it's
right. So
ridiculous.
here's the example that she sent me. So if there's a bathing suit that's made in China, there's a 24.9% tariff fee for most favored nation plus fentanyl tariff fee plus the reciprocal tariff fee. This is something I've learned about her. Is she's like really good with math, and I okay. Anyway, so after you calculate the total of all of the layered tariffs, you are paying a total tariff of 54.9% on a bathing suit that's made in China. I didn't read it
Right.
exactly the way she did it because she's kind of like slick with making it look like I'm stupid, but there's like layered tariff fees. So you're
Right.
paying the 30% plus because it's China and apparently they send all this fentanyl in here. You have to pay the fentanyl tariff fee, the reciprocal tariff fee, and then that, what was that other one that she called it? Like most favored nations fee or something on top
Yeah.
of that.
Yeah.
So depending on what you get, and this was a bathing suit. So a bathing suit from China, you're paying 54.9% tariff on there. Imagine if you got a dress from China and they layer even more tariffs on there, you could be paying 60, 70% in tariffs. So when you go
Yeah.
to check out and it doesn't make sense because you're saying, hey, I was expecting to pay 30%, but
Right.
my tariff is more like double or even more than double. It's because you're not calculating those other small tariff fees that's in between the 30% and the final fee on there.
Well,
And we were pissing Kelsey off about this. And I'm with her on this. I'm with her on this. I understand why Fox News and the Republicans are not telling the public about layered tariff fees. What's pissing her off is there's no Democrats that's coming forward and telling us like about the layered tariff fees and how it really is affecting us to drive us home. Now, my oldest daughter, Kivana, she's like, well, I understand why Democrats are not explaining it because every time they explain something, we tell them, dumb it down. You're like giving us too much details, and America don't need all them details. Just dumb it down. Just tell the people, like, hey, because of Donald Trump, you have to pay extra in tariffs for these goods. So my oldest daughter is saying that Democrats are just saying it don't matter what the fee is. The other countries are not paying the tariffs. We're paying the tariff. Chelsea is
oh,
saying, yeah, but you can add that extra punch if you explain to them these additional stupid layered fees in between there and how you get to your final price.
well, I think you're older. I think they're both right. The older daughter has a point. Your older
I
daughter has
like
a point in the sense,
that.
if we look at the campaign with Donald Trump, he
Yeah.
said, "I'm going to lower all prices day one." He didn't say how he
Mm-hmm.
was going to do it, but that was enough for people to get to vote for him. So what they
Sure.
basically need to say is, yeah, your $50 swimsuit because of Donald Trump's tariff is going to cost you 110. And there's
Yeah.
another aspect. There's just so people understand. It's got to be simple, but over and above the tariffs, which you have to understand, the middleman is charged the tariffs, and then it goes down to the
Mm-hmm.
retail, and the retail has
Yeah.
to mark it up to cover the tariffs. But a lot of times,
Mm-hmm.
these people that are on the retail end, they'll say, "Well, we've had to punch it up 55%." And we got to dick around with this a lot. So now they might just punch it up 60% to just cover the paperwork. So
Yeah.
your
That was
tariffs
part
are
of
even
the
going higher.
discussion. Yeah, that was part of the discussion that we were having. And part of the discussion is what I agree with Kelsey on this part because we are saying that you know that these companies are going to jack up prices and they're going to say, yep, that's because of the tariff.
Right.
But you have to like break it down so that they know, no, it's not the company. Like you're giving Trump an out and you're saying, no, it's not really the company. Like that's not Walmart that's really charging you that much money. It's these extra fees in between from these tariffs that's charging you extra money. So people will think that like you could just say Walmart is just jacking up the price and they're just lying on Trump and blaming it on tariffs, right? However, on the other side of that, you have to say, well, Walmart wouldn't even have the opportunity to raise the price and blame it on the tariff if Donald Trump wasn't doing what he was doing. You know what I mean? So it's
Right.
kind of like complicated where it's crazy when you know what's really going on and you really got a mind and you can figure it out and you understand it and you want other people to understand it. But at the same time, you have to understand that over explaining stuff doesn't work. You kind of have to like dumb it down and make it very, very simple. Yeah, all the people need to know is that they're paying extra and it's because of those tariffs. That's all they need to know. But when you understand the percentages and what's really going on, I think she just wants other people to know that. You know what I mean?
Well,
It's kind of,
well, Kelsey's
it's just
young, and
sad.
Kelsey has to understand she's young. She has to understand that most people aren't as smart as she is. That's the problem. Most people
Especially if
aren't
you're
as smart as
alive.
Kelsey.
No,
You can
there's one
rationalize
other
this out
thing.
all you can.
There's one other thing that I have to mention that is so sad. Um, when it comes to Harvard, Donald Trump was saying that those grants that was going to go to Harvard, he was going to take those grants and he was going to put it into trade schools. I thought that the reason that he was saying that is because on the campaign, it was really popular for Kamala Harris when she was saying, oh, yeah, I'm going to invest in trade schools. We're going to give apprenticeships to people. That was like really popular and people really did like that. So I thought that he
Yeah.
was just, biting her style a little bit. And today we found out that he closed down or his administration stopped all funding for Job Corps.
Yeah.
And we knew a kid in California who got his GED through Job Corps and was trying to go into some kind of like welding program. And I was like, well, we got to help this kid out. My family have learned how to sit me down and say, no, we can't help every kid. We can't feed every person. And I'm like, well, look what happened with Kelsey. She's so good. She's so great. And I had to kind of understand that she was like broken and she was sad and she was hurt and she was like kind of like her wing was broke a little bit and she just needed somebody to kind of like bandage that wing up and just kind of like help her out and she can fly on her own and she's good. This
Yeah.
kid is not the same kid. Like he has a record, he has a history, and it's like my honey is here with his girls and my girls. It's like that's not a good situation. We did find somewhere with some veterans. It's kind of like I don't want to say sober living, but it's kind of something like that where they keep an eye on the kids, they help the kids out and stuff like that. But part of Job Corps is a lot of these kids are homeless. They don't have a place to go. Like
Right.
especially if you're LGBTQ and your family like kicks you out, you can go there, you can get your GED, you can learn a trade, or maybe if you was in like juvie or something like that, and your parents is like, look, you can't come back here. And a lot of these people drop out of school, but when you go there, you can get your GED, you can learn a trade, and then you can like keep going. And then the good part
Right.
about that is they don't even have to take out student loans for that. Um,
Right. Right. Exactly.
to see like we could see one kid being able to uh, have a place to go and keep building in his career and his trade. But there are so many other kids that's without Job Corps, they're going to be homeless. They're not going to have adults around them pushing them in the right direction, keeping them
Right.
out of trouble, keeping them on the right track, and at the same time getting an education or learning a trade.
It's frustrating.
It's
There's no
pretty
question about it.
sad.
It is.
My heart just goes out to any kid that's getting job, out of Job Corps right now, especially for us, luckily, he wasn't in the middle of a trade. He had just got his GED. He's like, all right, cool. I'm just going over here and get this welding program. And they're like, no, you're not, which is like horrible, right? But he has
Yeah.
another option. And a lot of other kids don't. And that's, I don't even want to
That is
ask.
tragic.
I don't want to ask where the grant money is going because it's going to somebody's pocket and it's not going to these kids that need it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, Also, I'm going to wrap things up. We always go along with Old Soul because she's got a lot to say, and we want to hear what she has to say. Thank you for coming on. I want to make one announcement because I know people have been asking about it. I've said before that my daughter-in-law was pregnant. She gave birth to my grandson, 12:01 Saturday morning. 12:01
The weight
Saturday
and the
morning.
length.
He was 21 inches, 7 pounds, 13 ounces. And he's a handsome devil. I'm just saying, he's a handsome devil.
And he's healthy
I,
too.
yeah, he's very healthy. Both my daughter-in-law and my grandson are healthy. My granddaughter's excited as hell to see her new brother, and we're all pretty happy about that. So that's good news with all this bad news. Old Soul, thank you. Hopefully, we can get you on
Congrats.
more regularly again, and you are not going to be popping around all that much. So hopefully, we'll get you
Well,
on more frequently.
congratulations. So,
Thank you. Thank you. For those of you listening, thanks for taking the time. I hope you have a great day, and we will talk to you again tomorrow.